Hi there everyone, Russ Douglas 222 again, and this is part 2 of my FX Dreamline bottle pup, aka the pup. This is part 2 of my pup review. Very impressed with this this fella already. I believe it literally does everything I need it to. It's already been christened on a few rabbits, helping Chris on his permission. I've recently reacquired a permission that borders on my main permission's paddocks, because if you saw the end of the SA45 LRF video, you'll have seen the thermal footage whereby there's over a dozen rabbits coming out of waste ground beside the end house. That's one I've had permission for previously. So I've now been and spoken to the friendly new owner and reacquired my permission there, and I'm hoping to go out this evening before dark, give the garden a quick suss over, see if anything's changed, pop the moderator on the end, have it set to full power, 29.5 foot-pounds, hopefully be reducing the rabbits out to sort of 50-60 meters. Before I do that, I'm going to take advantage of the pup's finger adjustable power control, pop out to my local permissions barns. Thanks to the pt.2 LRF having 5 savable profiles, I've got A set full power at 50 meters. I'm going to turn the dial down to about 18 foot-pounds and save one of the profiles with that, and I'm going to turn it right down to 11.8 or even 11.1 foot-pounds minimum power and save another profile for that. Step out of the paddocks and into, for example, the riding school or any of the stables. There's a rat that keeps eluding me so far, and I was there 2 days ago. It jumped out on one of the lasses in the stables, so I'm going to try and tackle that rat very soon. So I'll have both a low power selected for that and different profile on the pad. And also, if I'm in my local permissions barns where I'm going to be doing the zeroing, if I step in there, I want to just click, turn the power down for targeting high-level ferals in either the hay barn or the cereal barn. But before I do so, let's talk butts, i.e. butt stocks. Now, the bottle pup still has the standard FX butt on it, which is a fairly hard synthetic pad with ridging. You'll know my Wildcat still has a 3D printed adjustable claw from Target Healing. After seeing one of Steve Allen's videos, hi Steve, he mentioned JB 3D PD, a 3D printing company for airgun accessories that I haven't heard of. So I got in touch with Jake and I've bought 2 adjustable claws. So if I hold it over my shoulder, so you've got a white light background, one I've set up so it's symmetrical in the shoulder as standard, and the second one I've set up to go more over my shoulder to for the rifle to rest downwards on. I'll get the camera around and show you what I mean. We have the standard Wildcat butt cap, synthetic. It's got a slightly concave shape to it. It tapers from the top, slightly narrower down to the base. We have, here we go, from Jake Bowman, which is JB 3D, and I'll put the link down below. You probably know by now, I love clever design. We have a cool reticle logo on them both, and you'll see I've set up one symmetrically, and I've set up the other one asymmetrically, and that at the moment it's set up for this larger wing of the butt hook, rest over on my shoulder. Once I've moved it down, that will lift the butt of the rifle towards my cheek and save me having to hunch. Always a great idea. So let me show you a little bit more of this. I love clever design. We have one central Allen bolt which comes through to the bottom, so you've got a lot of height adjustment built in. If you notice, these segments are symmetrical and mirrored, hence taking one segment out from the lower part of this butt hook and adding it in above. I'll just pause the video and I'll just take one of these fellas apart and show you the clever design. Here's the clever bit. So on the inner faces where these identical components mate up, we have built into the 3D print design cutaways on one side and teeth on the other side. So the central section has cutaways. So there we go, slots in, and that's pretty solid before you put the Allen bolt through and tighten it up. So there are numerous positions that each segment can go into, and basically the sky's the limit. And I'm sure you can also order extra segments if you wanted either or both side of the claws to extend further. So if I pop this back together, and then little nip up, and that is not going anywhere. Excellent. So on the other side, pop the nut in, tighten up, just a gentle nip, and that is solid. Weight wise, 4 ounces. Just double check. Second fella, yep, 4 ounces as expected. 113 grams. Brilliant. Eminently adjustable for height, for positioning your shoulder, for angle of grip. Excellent. So I'm going to pop this onto the bottle pup so that I can give this fella a try out when I'm zeroing today. One very nice touch is that the 2 screws holding the FX butt pad on are T10 Torx screws. Height adjustable. The angle of each of the 4 Allen screws is adjustable. You can see the angle of the fella there, and a little bit of trial and error, and I'll get it sorted. That's the adjustable claw fitted. As an experiment, I've put the larger of the 2 claws at the top. To check the gun fit, in the crook of my arm, that's perfect. So that lines up very nicely. Kind of upside down for you here, but basically that's snug here, my arm in the crook. And if I shoulder the rifle, yep, I've again folded back the rubber eye cup of the pad, but I've left the ridge diopter adjustment free. Looks quite cool. I can see all 4 corners. That's very nice position indeed. So as you can see, if I let go, the rifle is resting on my shoulder. I don't really have to hunch to get the right eye position for the near eye display. I think that'll be fine. So I shall check that it fits in my rucksack gun slip, and I'll put the link to the rucksack gun slip down below on Amazon. It was, of course, too much to hope that with the muzzle inside the gun slip, that the whole of the butt hook would be within the slip at the rear, but easy enough to take an Allen key and loosen that bolt, fold the upper claw back, lock it back in this position once I'm at the permission and preparing to shoot. A gap over here against the wall where hopefully I'll be able to bait and shoot rats once they're around, and a gap ahead here where I'll get a long enough baseline to do some close zeros. Oh, and I can just see pigeons through that crack there. They're nesting inside the sealed off smaller barn. Right, here at the barn, and there's my preliminary target at 14 metres, and then once I've got profiles C and E zeroed roughly there, I'm going to move it out to there, 25 metres. Right, so I'm happy that at 13 metres, profile C, which is 18 foot-pounds, is
cock on, so that's a start. Before I move the target further away, I've set profile E to the same reticle, same colour, same X minus 60, Y minus 190. Focus. Oh, only slightly low. That was going from 18 foot-pounds down to 11.8 foot-pounds. So, 11.8 foot-pounds. Y was now minus 218. Zero check. It's near enough. So, now I'm going to move the target further out, back to 25 metres, over there, and I'll try and put it in the light where that green grass is.
That's not bad framing for a first try. Having roughly zeroed profiles C, 18 foot-pounds, and then profile E, 11.8 foot-pounds at 13 metres. I've now moved the target out to 25 metres, and this being, first spell being 2-2, 25 metres will be fine. I'm not going to move it to 30 metres like my normal 177, non-FAC 0. So the claws working nicely, keeping the rifle in my shoulder. You saw in part 1 I mentioned that's barrel movement, but you can see that the scope rail and the scope are moving at the same time. What I didn't make clear, and if you watch this gap here, there's a bit of bottle movement as well, which is a little bit unnerving, but there's no leak and pressure gauge is not moving, and it's very accurate. Interesting.
Target is now at 25 metres, let's just prove that. 24.8. If I switch the pip off, zoom the scope, you'll see the reticle. For me, the reticle is now very low on the screen. Interesting. A lot higher than I expected. Brilliant. My Y reduced from minus 220 to minus 165 or thereabouts. So the reticle's still very low on the screen when I'm zoomed in. If I zoom out, it's not bad at all. Drop to 0. At 11.8 foot-pounds, 25 metres. Yeah, I think I'll go for that target there. Oh, that's quite low. Let's zoom in again, and go on power level E.5, hard 008 LRF, profile E, and see how close we are to the centre. That's left edge of the bolt. I've really got a really bad habit of holding my breath when getting close to firing.
So, upshot of this zeroing is, I love this rifle more and more. Profile A on the pt.2 LRF is 50 meters, full power, 29.5 foot-pounds. Profile C is power level C, which is 11.8 foot-pounds. Profile E is E.5, which is 11.8 foot-pounds. And all three of those power levels are matching profiles for 25 meter zeros on the pt.2 LRF. I can use this rifle for paddock rabbits at 40, 50, 60 meters, whatever. I won't go much more than 60 meters, I wouldn't think, until I get really sure of my holdovers for that range and it's a very calm day. For closer range targets, where I don't need full power, I can set the profile on the scope to C, set the power to C, and that's 18 foot-pounds, 25 meter zero. And for buildings, shooting ferals, and places like this, profile E on the scope, turn the power down to E.5. Basically there's a notch between minimum and E. That's 25 meter zero with two twos, 15.89 grain JSB exacts. Cool. Right, because I don't want to unscrew the main body of the hugget from the rear end cap, and I don't want to unscrew the shroud of the rifle, I've basically just put an elastic band around the shroud so I can grip that. I'm going to put a little bit of an elastic band around the base of the hugget so I can also grip that. And then there we go. So, but this will be sorted very soon when I Loctite the base cap of the hugget onto the body of it. So it won't come loose.